Oh boy, I have finally done it, Spencer.
Yes.
What's today's date of this recording? Because I don't know when this episode is dropping. June 13th.
So you finished it on the 11th?
Yeah, I finished Gravity's Rainbow. I ended up doing 2 marathon reads where I just read for most of the day to knock out the last 200 pages of that asshole book. Want my final verdict?
Yeah, I mean, I saw you post the thing, but yeah.
I'll go into more detail. So, one of the best written books. I had to give it 4 stars still. I have reasons. Because of the writing, and the main reason I gave it 4 stars is because Thomas Pynchon was able to write something so beautifully while constantly throwing the words turd and asshole in there. And not calling someone an asshole, talking about an actual person's asshole. He did that a lot. And yet, I was still like, I love this prose. Though, here's the big caveat. I would not recommend anybody read this book. Unless you're into really like experimental fiction or something. But mainly because it's very Epstein Island shit. Mm-hmm. It's gross. There's a lot of stuff with children. That's the thing that almost made me stop reading the book multiple times. And I'm not talking about just like, what's the fucking word?
Incest?
No, well, incest, but not just like, there might, like, we're gonna... Insinuating that there's some kind of gross, ness happening. No, it's like...
He goes into, like, detail.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail.
Like, small... I remember you telling me that he's talking about, like, small hands touching him.
Yeah, and even some of the stuff was very Lolita-esque, where it's like, he's trying to make this, like, romantic with his child, and then there's, like, some boy children, and I didn't like any of that stuff. And it even ends on some kind of gross stuff like that. So I would not recommend that book to anyone. Though if you do want a challenge, I would, and you have a higher constitution for this kind of stuff, and you're not easily offended, and you can also view it as like, well, this is some kind of art. This isn't actually Thomas Pynchon, hopefully, being a fucking gross guy in real life or anything. You can read it, and you might get something out of it. I don't know who's saying this is their favorite book. That says a lot about them. But I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I'm done with it, and I will never read it again. But I will say the writing was so good that I will read more Thomas Pynchon.
Just to see if his other stuff is weird. Or...
Well, hopefully some of the other topics aren't about rockets and boners, because there's a lot of fucking rocket talk. Holy shit, I know all about rocket. And the way I know all about harpooning and stuff and the whaling and the shit of Moby Dick, I learned all that about rockets in this book, but don't know any of it because of the math. Like, so I just like I learned nothing.
Now, was there like an ending to it?
Yeah, big rocket.
Well, I just because like as you've been saying many times, like I was just like the jumping back and forth. We're not even jumping back and forth because a lot of people you only see one. You know what I mean? I didn't know like if it was the ending was at least satisfactory in a way of like wrapping things up.
Well, remember how I told you that the book's protagonist essentially is actually the Rocket, though the Rocket's not like a character and the Rocket is only mentioned for most of the book. It actually ends where you're like, oh, so the Rocket is like the main character.
Oh,
Rocket's the protagonist, I guess. I don't know. It was very odd. I did look up, which I should have sent you, but it was like, I think you had to get a PDF and it was like a fucking one of those you gotta zoom in. It was a whole character map. To show how the characters connect. And it was just like a fucking, might as well have been Lord of the Rings map, like for Middle Earth. Like, it was so expansive. I was like, I don't like any of this. But I ended up having to look it up because I was like, I know all these characters now, but I don't actually know what their purpose or who they are. Like, I kept forgetting shit. And I looked it up, and then once that was cemented, I was like, oh, these characters with the weird names are Africans. Okay.
That seems like one you could probably do like a good like YouTube deep dive on of people just talking about it.
I was going to take a few days off and then maybe like watch a video essay on it or something, because I did do a little research afterward to see why people like this so much. And besides, like, because the main thing is like paranoia. I was like, I don't know. I don't like paranoia stuff generally anyway, but like that was like some of the main things. But I was looking into some of the metaphors and stuff that it was about and shit like that. And apparently it is a lot deeper than, like, I'm not smart enough to understand a lot of that stuff, I guess. But when I was reading into it, I was like, okay, I could get that. Like, maybe that's why people would reread it, but...
Do you feel like it would be one of those things where it would be better on a reread?
Yeah.
Because maybe you could start seeing things connecting more, maybe? I don't know. Like
I think you'd have to read the book 4 times to start to understand a lot of the stuff, but I get it. Again, you'd have to be interested enough in the subject matter. That was another big problem for me, is like, I didn't really care about the subject matter enough. Like I said, the poop stuff and the weird shit would draw me back in because it was so odd or gross or whatever. But just the actual theme of the book of like paranoia and wartime shit. And I was like, I actually don't care about this stuff. So that's the problem. Remember how I said Infinite Jest would be one of those books I don't care because I don't care about corporate guys or fucking tennis. So that's why I don't really want to read it. Well, it's kind of like this book. It's like I don't actually care about a lot of the shit going on, though. Like they did so much drugs and stuff that was interesting. But maybe if it was written in a way where you could actually follow along, it would be more pleasurable. I don't know. Regardless, I read it.
And you like that as soon as you got done reading it, the universe rewarded you with a power outage.
It was funny. I was on the last couple pages, and I was like, I'm finally going to fucking finish this thing, and the power went out. And I was taking an ice bath while I was reading it, and I was just stuck in the cold, dark tub because that's where I had my ice bath. And all the lights were off, and I couldn't see anymore. I was like, and then the fucking big fire alarm went off. Like, that was like the end of the day. Right when I'm getting on this fucking big thing where the kid's like strapped to a rocket and it's going in the sky, and you're waiting for it to blow up or kill him, or you don't know what's going to happen.
Is it the person that gets the hard-ons with the rocket, or
no? It was a little kid who's little boy who keeps getting like diddled or I don't know. It's written like he likes it, but I don't know. Like it talks about the word cock is used and throat and explosion in the throat. Like the rockets get like
yeah.
Anyway, after that, I needed a palate cleanser, so I read Train Dreams by Dennis Johnson, and that was a delightful book. I'm probably gonna give that to you to read. It's only 116 pages, but it's also like big font.
Well, okay.
I read it in 2 sittings that were like 10, 20-minute sittings.
Well, I'm saying, and it probably also didn't help that you were like, after doing like the Atrix shrug of holding up the ward of reading that book to go like, oh, here's a nice little pebble I'm gonna throw. Like,
yeah, it was very nice, and it was a really interesting book. It was really good. I'm gonna watch the Netflix movie probably tonight because apparently that's also excellent. But yeah, I highly recommend checking that out for anybody if you want to see the American Dream in action. Not really the American Dream. It's just like this guy in the early 1900s. He's like a logger and he works on trains. He's worked different jobs. But it just goes through like his life and how things change around him, and it's almost John Steinbeck-esque in the way it's written. It's very simplistic, but I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I probably would have enjoyed anything after reading Gravity's Rainbow. Like you could have probably handed me the fucking Bible, and I was like, "This is great. At least some stuff has happened that I can understand."
It'd be like one of those like, fucked up challenge. Like if we like decide what the other one's reading, but okay, guess what you're reading for the 3rd time after Gravity's Rainbow? There's more Moby Dick.
I'd rather read Moby Dick again than ever check that book out again.
I
was gonna ask you.
I finished the last week or before, like in between whenever we've been recording. I finished To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes, and you said you liked it.
I did like it. Whenever I was telling you about it before I actually finished it, I did say like I feel like it does have like one of those like not a problem, but what could maybe happen sometimes, especially like with like classic like stories. So much stuff has not necessarily like been based on, but been told differently from that story, like you know what I mean, to whenever sometimes when you go to like the original, because I would say that would probably be would be one of the original of like
court dramas,
court dramas, and just also of just like, you know, racism and like the difficulty of like, you know, a white person trying to help the black community in a very racist, you know, part of the country and stuff like that.
Well, it's also unique because you came into that book after already having read Native Son, which was like, 20 years before that? Like 1930s, I think that was written. And that was from the black experience,
right?
You know, from that perspective, it also ended in a big court drama kind of deal. Because I remember, I think I read Native Son before as well, before I read To Kill a Mockingbird. I just remember thinking, different because I could see like the tropes of the white savior character and how like nowadays it's kind of like, well, it's the white people that are the problem anyway.
Right.
You don't really like, are they saving anything? You're just trying to solve your own problem that you made.
But like I did enjoy it. I thought it was written very well. Crazy that she never like wrote like another book until like.
So what I was thinking is I often heard it was really the editor who made that book. Like she wrote it, but I guess what was it, the Signal Man or whatever that one they put out on her deathbed or after she died, which is supposed to be like the sequel, but apparently a lot of people said that was just like the actual first draft of it because it's like very racist. And they were like, well, that was like the first draft, and the editor actually just made To Kill a Mockingbird out of it.
I was going to ask if you ever got around to reading that. The way you said it was The Signal?
I don't know. I forget what it's called. Something the Signal Man or something. I have no interest in reading that. I don't want to read. It's like fucking reading one of the, like, am I going to read Atlas Shrugged? No, I don't want to read something that like some racist lady wrote. Yeah, I mean, maybe she's not racist. Like, obviously, it wasn't meant to ever come out.
I'd say that'd be weird if it does turn out like she's like she was like super racist, and then you write one of like the most like anti-racist books that are.
It'd be an interesting dichotomy to see how that would come to be. So how do you feel about Boo Radley now?
I mean, I was getting a little confused because you always bring up Boo Radley, and like in the beginning he had like or like the legend of him was like and stuff like that, and then like he just kind of was gone for like a big chunk, and I was like, at first like before we got to the court thing, I was like, was he the one that actually like did like the rape or what I mean and something, and like no, he actually helped save the kids there at the end, but yeah, it was weird. Like, is he just albino or is he just super pale because he never comes out during the day?
I'm not quite sure. I watched the movie and I think it was black and white, so it's hard to say, but I think it was kind of albino. Boo Radley is one of those characters where I'm not exactly sure what he's supposed to. I never looked it up, so I don't know what like he's supposed to represent.
Right.
Is he the white savior? Is he just like supposed to be like the purest of just person? And he's all like, I think it's supposed to show where, even though he's white, he's so white, but he gets judged just the same as like almost like the black people do, because like there's this myth about him just because he's different, basically. So it's like, this shows you how they treat the different people.
And I also feel like he has some mental handicapness going on as well, probably
like some kind of autism or something.
I did find, and spoilers for what, like a 60-year-old book now,
more than that,
but I did find it odd, after the big, of the husband or the father who actually was the one doing the raping Dylan and stuff, when he attacked the kids, and when Atticus thought it was Jim who stabbed him with the knife and self-defense, he's like, no, we have to go to court, we have but whenever it was like, no, it was actually Boo Radley who took the knife, and said, was like, oh well, okay, then we'll just he was then fine with like the slight cover-up of like he fell on his knife. I was like, that's a little weird, right? Like,
yeah, it's
maybe because he saved your kid, you're like, okay, well, I won't, you know what I mean? But, and like I said, it was weird because I wasn't expecting, like, I didn't know that the story was through Scout's perspective, which, again, like we talked before, like, it made sense because it kind of gives it, like, that childness, like, wonder of, like, looking at, like, her perspective of things, like, you know what I mean?
It's a genius way to write that story because it makes it digestible to the, 1950s, probably mostly racist, like, the people you're writing for. How are you going to get them to view this story without just going, no, the black guy's guilty?
Yeah.
Making it more innocent through the kid's eyes.
But yeah, like it was, it is funny though, because the book that I'm now reading, the Greg Ruckus series that I'm reading now, his main character in that, his name is Atticus Kodiak. But people normally just call him Kodiak. But I thought that was very weird that I went back-to-back books where the main character is Atticus.
And there's probably only 2 Atticuses in most known fiction.
Right.
To end this segment, I started reading, because since you're reading that, I was like, well, I can't get to Ham on Rye because I'll blow through that before
if I knew you were going to do a power study, I just would have started Ham on Rye. Like.
That's all right, because I've been looking for a reason to read The Grapes of Wrath again. Because I haven't read, it's been over 20 years since I read that. I read that in high school, so I started rereading that. I'm already fucking, just at the beginning, I'm like, oh, god damn it. This is great. Like, so
I'll say that's a bit of a thicker guy, right?
It's like 400-something pages. I figure I'll probably stay on pace with you.
But with his with his writing style, it's not going to be that. But it did look like in the picture you showed, it looked like there was a little bit of a thick guy.
Well, put it this way, I about 10:52 this morning, I started reading it, and you got here at 11, and I finished the first chapter. So, I should breeze through that. It was either between that or Natsume Sozeki's The Miner, which is his experimental book.
You're just like, I had too much experimental.
Well, here's the thing that interests me. Well, yeah, that's basically why I haven't read it.
I just want a normal book.
There's 3 things. One, the copy I got, I remember ordering on Amazon because it was the only place I could find it, and it came in with the blood on the pages, like somebody maybe bled on it.
I thought you meant
yeah. So I was like, that's the reason I didn't read it originally, and I should have just sent it back, but I never got around to it.
I think I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, it's not a lot of blood, just a little, just enough to go. Ew. So I've been keeping it on the shelf for that. What interests me is, one, I think Haruki Murakami does the foreword. 2, the translator is Jay Rubin.
Oh.
And 3, Haruki Murakami, I think, says it's his favorite book on the back or something. I don't remember. I read the introduction like a long time ago because I was gonna read it, but then the blood got to me.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. I need to be in the right headspace for that because apparently it's one of those books that like inspired or like predated the more experimental books like the postmodern books like to the Lighthouse and some of the harder ones I've read. So I'm like, even if it's not that hard of a read, I'm not gonna read something that I'm gonna enjoy and get through before I do something crazy again. So we're gonna talk about Steinbeck on this list I found.
Okay.
So I think he's on this list. So stick around, folks. We're gonna be talking about some books. Ooh, that popped.
Yeah.
Some books. You are listening to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me, as always, Spencer, the Alabama Alligator Analyzer Church. Not analyzer.
Yes.
You're just analyzing them. Are you...
Do they get a lot of alligators in Alabama?
They got swampy areas.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I've only driven through Alabama, and it looked... I learned... But talking about that book... Train Dreams. Guy uses some older language set in the time period. So one of the things the guys talked about is like, maybe I should go see an alienist. So what the fuck is an alienist? That sounds awesome. Psychiatrist.
Oh.
Analyzer.
Okay.
But they just called it alienist back then. I was like, that's way cooler.
Yeah.
Fucking assholes. Alien stuff. What else was in that book? There was a word I had to look up because it's used a bunch and I already forget it. It's probably on my Google look because it's rare I read a book where I'm like, I really need to look this word up.
I'm
trying to start with a P. Pulchritude? No, pulchritude? Pulchritude. Physical beauty or attractiveness. So the guy goes through a weird period where he's just mad fucking horny. And he doesn't know what to do about it. And he's all religious instead. He keep using that word. It's like, I don't know. Weird. All right, Spencer. Today we are, I think we might have covered this before The Guardian did the top 100 books.
Okay.
I don't remember if we did an episode or talked about it or something, but apparently that caused a lot of controversy, and I've seen some videos. Well, the readers did their own list. So they compiled a list of the readers' choices. I'm not going to do 100. Right. I'm going to do 25.
Okay.
Does that sound fair?
Fair.
But I've read some of these books, so I'll be able to judge. You attempted at least one of them. You've at least attempted, I don't know. I don't think it's in the top 25. I don't remember. I looked through briefly. I was going to do like the top 30 or more, but it starts like weirdly like skipping. So it's like 31, no 30. Well, there's like 5 books and then 29. So there's 2 books there, then 28, but we skipped 30.
Are there ties?
And then there's 26. I don't know if they're tied. I don't know. It's broken up weird, but I think after 25, it's normal. So number 25, Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. So I can't actually read about these books. It's people's opinion on it, I guess, is the thing. So Crime and Punishment, I would say, is a top 25 book ever written. I really enjoyed it. Again, I only read the Oliver Reddy translation. At some point, I'm going to be an asshole and start reading different translations of things, so rereading them. But I've still got too many new books to read.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of rereading, so we talked about doing one Q84.
Yes.
I reread Moby Dick. I am rereading Grapes of Wrath, though again, I haven't read that since high school.
So that's pretty much like a new read.
It's going to be pretty much a new read for me, because I don't remember... Other than the tit-sucking scene at the end, I don't remember much.
And also, like, if you read it at school, who knows if you read, like, the actual...
I feel like we did a lot of packets. And
you didn't actually read it. Yeah, it's a packet.
I definitely don't remember just holding the novel in my hands back then, put it that way. It's a big novel. Lord of the Rings.
It's been a couple years.
Yeah, I'm going to reread a whole Lord of the Rings, but I'm going to wait probably maybe till next year.
Because you were talking about there for a while, you wanted to do, like, that annually. It was like, read that like once a year.
Once I get most of my book list done. I also want to reread Jerusalem because I got the 3 book volumes now. I think that'll be a better read. And then I'm probably going to go back and reread Ulysses in one of those big collections I have, but not because the way it's written, you can just read certain episodes. You don't have to reread the whole book. So I might do something like that as well. There are some other books I really wanted to reread, but I can't think of off the top of my head. Anyway, 24, Les Mis by Victor Hugo. Also, I'm really itching to read The Count of Monte Cristo now because I keep seeing all these fucking... I don't know why it had this weird resurgence, but now all these Bookstagram things keep like popping up where they talk about how great it is.
Well, it seems like with those, there's always cycles and stuff because there's that. There's Lonesome Dove.
That's another one I keep seeing.
Yeah.
I'm less inclined to read Lonesome Dove. You're gonna have to read it with me.
Yeah.
I don't want to read that giant book by myself, but apparently it's great.
Yeah, it probably is.
You know, it's like I'm just not a big like Western. Like I never really. I like Westerns. It's just like I never go like, you know what, I want to read a Western.
Well, again, like if I thought it was like a Western where just like, man, people in hats and guns shooting each other, but it's like, isn't it about like
character driven in this?
But isn't it about like them just moving powder from one place to another?
Strangely enough,
and like all this shit that like there's a storm and like, you know what I mean?
Strangely enough, every Western I actually have read is just pretty much moving cattle.
Yeah,
because I think like that was like the big thing in All the Pretty Horses. It was they ended up working on a cattle farm. Though obviously the horses were the main thing, moving horses, but it's still just like animals you're moving. All right, so 24, Les Mis. I have never had any inclination to read that. No, I don't think I ever am.
Now, do you know, because like I always see like Les Mis performed like musicals. Do you know if it's written in a way like is it?
No, I think it's just prose.
Because I just always find that weird that it's always like even in plays and movies that it's all whenever it gets adapted, it's in musical form.
I think a part of me never wanted to read it because I'm not a big musical guy.
Yeah.
And every time I've seen something about it, it's a musical.
Yeah. So I thought, well, maybe it was written in a way to where, like, do they have, like, are they singing in the book? Like, is there, like...
I just think they're dying in gutters.
Okay. Because, like, that would get me to read it.
Yeah. Number 23, I would put this in the top 10, if not the top 5. Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes. I'm surprised it's not higher since this is a reader's pick. I did look at the top the top ones, and again, we'll get there, but one of the picks, I'm just like, come on. Is it what rate is it? Did you interview 5 people? Who came up with this?
I mean, I haven't even read that yet, and I know like that should probably be a little bit higher.
Yeah, I think you'd
at least in the top 10.
I think you'd really enjoy it. 21. This was a surprise one for me. Slaughterhouse Fives by Kurt Vonnegut.
Okay.
Obviously, I would say
I could see that. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd put Slaughterhouse 5 in my personal top 25 because there's a lot of books I have read, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. Let's put it that way. It was very good. This one I would put in the top 25. The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I just read the Michael Katz edition a few months back. Excellent.
So do you feel like you like that more than War and Peace or
Crime and Punishment?
Crime and Punishment?
No, I prefer Crime and Punishment. The Brothers Karamazov was just a little bit too long. A little bit too long. 20, Beloved by Toni Morrison. This is one I keep forgetting to read. I think Mike said Luke read this and he really liked it, if I'm not mistaken. That's one of those ones I always mean to do it every year, and I just something slips by.
You know what it's supposed to be about?
Hard themes, and I think there's ghost in it, but let's just put. I'm pretty sure it's some child getting things done to him and how they affects them later in life. Something like
big. That's a lot of topics in books.
Well, I think it's based on her life.
Oh,
something like that. 19, speaking of fucking kid diddling. What? Okay, I'm missing something. I read the fucking book. I don't get it. 19, Gravity's Rainbow by Thomas Pynchon. Like I said, because when everyone I told I was reading Gravity's Rainbow had no idea what I was talking about, I was like, I've seen this on every fucking list. Like, people really, like, is this just like an intellectual asshole book that academics put up there and just make it like, oh, you have to read this book, but nobody actually knows what it is or about?
Reads it.
It's on 19, because I'm pretty sure it was on the Guardian's initial list up high, too. Like, okay, I'm actually read this. So Nathan Cowie from Australia, 28-year-old gentleman, public service economist, whatever the fuck that is.
Okay.
He says, this is fiction at its most indulgent and digressive. I don't like that already. Any good book sweeps you up and into its world, and Pynchon goes further than I've seen any author go by trapping you in a cage of unease, paranoia, and delusion so fun. So maybe there's just like a group of people out there that really like things that are gross, and they like the paranoia shit. I like I said, I don't like the paranoia stuff. I don't think it's interesting.
And also, like, now's not a good time to be reading about paranoia.
Yeah, well, it's just like that's why I think that's why I don't read a lot of dystopian books.
Yeah,
'cause I want to feel good when I read something. Generally, like maybe not like I can read things that are downers, but like generally I like to read something where there's like some hope or something. I don't want to read fucking just paranoia and everything's bad all the time. Like, if I am, it's going to be like The Road or something where it's like, I know the whole book's going to be like that. I can, get into it and know it. But when you have, like, Gravity's Rainbow, where so much of it is ridiculous and outrageous, and you're like, okay, it's kind of fun. But then you also have these things like, well, it's fun, but like everybody's getting killed and stuff. So is it fun? Probably not. Number 16. This would be in my top 5 most likely, and I would say I think this might be. I mean, this is a bold claim, and obviously I'm reading Grapes of Wrath again, so it might even supplant this pick. But I would think personally that this could be the best American novel ever written. East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Like, just when you think of what America is, and you have a sprawling epic, it might be the best American novel ever written. I mean, that's a hard claim, and also if you're like, I would imagine if you're like very Christian, it would hit a lot harder than it would for somebody like me who read it because of the Christian themes. But few books better than this.
I'd say, well, I was almost gonna say, do you think like maybe best like modern, but like it was written in like the
50s. 40s, yeah. I mean, you look at American fiction; it only goes back a couple hundred years.
That's what. That kind of ran through my head too. Like it's kind of hard to have
even
like a modern
before Mark Twain, even like Poe and stuff. That's very European influence fiction. So like the actual what you consider American fiction, as in the themes and everything, I would say maybe even start. Well, I guess Walt Whitman, even though he was writing poetry, and maybe like Nathaniel Hawthorne, Washington Irving. Like those are very American books too. Though there is a touch of like English to it. So yeah, East of Eden though I think is one of the greatest novels ever written. That's the one I was talking about. I need to reread sometime, couple years because it's a big one too. But I want to get because I read that ebook. I want to get a physical version of that because I read all those John Steinbeck books and most of them were ebooks because I got like collections and I feel like I'm missing out on my my John Steinbeck book.
I gotta look because there was one time when we went out book shopping one time I got like it was like a 3 or 4 book like collection of his.
It's not gonna be in that because this is like a
no, but I mean I gotta see I gotta look and see what's on there and maybe read something since I already have it.
Next up, Persuasion by Jane Austen. I can't judge the girly books because I never read them. But apparently Jane Austen is one of those ones you should read and you either hate or love. So maybe I'll get there. Top 25, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is weird. So these are all under 16, so I guess there are ties.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't read the introduction, but so all 3 of these ones go under 16, which is weird. So The Great Gatsby. Also, is it a top 25? Like, how are they tying? That doesn't seem odd.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's not really a top 25 then. But The Great Gatsby, I personally really like The Great Gatsby, but most people seem to not like The Great Gatsby. I would throw that in the, if anything, top 30.
I could see that.
Yeah, it's 15, In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust.
I don't even know if I've heard of that one.
That's one of, I think it's like 7 volumes of a book.
Oh.
It's like one of the longest books ever written. I don't know. It's all about flowery language and fucking aristocrats and stuff. I don't think I have Swan's Way, which is the first book, and I just never really got a desire to sit there and read it. So the fact that it's number 15, that seems weird to me.
Right.
Maybe it's just the writing people like. I don't know. 14. Now this is the one that threw me. I don't even know what this is. Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel.
Yeah, that doesn't sound familiar at all.
George London, he's 31 years old. He said, I have never read a book like Wolf Hall, and I am not sure there will ever be another book like it. I never forget the descriptions of smells and textures like oranges and cinnamons in the air or cobbled stones underfoot. I'm going to look that up because that's interesting to me. Wolf Hall. What's it about, Spencer?
Wolves.
It's a British television series. Wolf Hall is a historical novel by Hilary Mantel, the first in her Thomas Cromwell trilogy. It's weird for me to like not know books.
Yeah, at least
are on
I've
lists
heard
like
of
this.
them. Yeah.
Focusing on the rise of Thomas Cromwell from a blacksmith's son to key advisor to King Henry the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. King Henry the 8th. I always have to count the knocks. I'm a fucking idiot. During the Roman numerals. During a time of political and religious turmoil in 1520s. Okay, when was this written? Why is it so hard to find a year?
You're just not doing a good job of giving the AI enough information to find it, Caleb.
Yeah. 2009. Came out in 2009.
Really?
Doesn't seem like a fit for these other books. Tied at 14 is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. So, I read this last year, and I hated it, as you remember.
Yeah.
I love the prose. I love the atmosphere. I hated every character. I like the book, but it's like almost like Gravity's Rainbow. It's like, I don't know if I can recommend it. Because I don't know anybody that I think would like it. 12, I understand why it's here, though I personally wouldn't put it this high. 12, Moby Dick by Herman Melville.
Okay.
What more can we say? Whaling.
Well, seaman.
Spermaceti.
Yeah.
11, Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I have multiple copies of this book, and I've been meaning to read it, but I haven't read any Tolstoy yet, and also I don't care about the aristocrats, you know? And this is the book apparently Luke hated.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I remember. Number 10, again, a strange pick. I would put this in the top 25 personally, but I see almost nobody reading this. Ulysses by James Joyce.
Yeah.
It's a hard fucking book.
But
the fact that it cracks the top 10, I'm thinking these are intellectuals they surveyed.
Yeah.
Number 8, Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. I haven't read this one. I really don't have a desire to read this one, but everybody talks about it. I don't think in general this would be in anybody's top 50 probably.
Right.
I don't know. Tied is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I've been meaning to read this. It's another sprawling epic of a family over 100 years. Just haven't got around to it. 7, 1984 by George Orwell. I can't judge this, but I can understand why it's probably in the top 10. Apparently, everybody loves this book. Number 6, War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. I haven't read it. I get why it's in the top 10 as well, because it's like the original sprawling epic, though I don't really want to read it. Though I have it, I just care too much. Too much. Sometimes there's too much. Number 5, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Did you put this in your top 5?
I don't know about my top 5.
Top 25?
Yeah, definitely. Because those are like my top 5 favorite or best books are probably going to be a lot different than these smarty pantses. But yeah, it'd definitely be in like the top 25 or something like that, I would think.
Number 4, The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. As we talked in the cold open, I'm currently reading this. I am perfectly in agreement that that's in the top 10 at least. Especially if this was like American novels. But this book starts with, to the red country and part of the gray country of Oklahoma, the last rains came gently, and they did not cut the scarred earth. Like, such simplicity, but goddamn, it's just like, John Steinbeck's one of those guys who are like, why can't I be good like Steinbeck? Like the way he fucking writes things, it's simple language that just hits you. I'm like, God damn it.
That's like, I wish that he didn't die before he got to finish those King Arthur stories. Because I feel like if
he would have made him interested.
I feel like they would be so good.
Yeah, he didn't get beyond the questing. But the thing about Steinbeck is it's all California stuff. Almost all the stuff, at least everything I've read, is like set in California.
Is that where he's like from?
Yeah, Salinas Valley, California. Very specific part of California. So that's the only thing is like you don't get a lot of. I mean, he has stories set outside of it, but it's like you kind of want more. Give me an East Coast Steinbeck. Give me one set somewhere else. But I guess most of the writers back then did that. The first chapter is just about describing the dust that settles on this dust bowl. And holy fuck, after just reading it, I'm just like, God damn it, that sucks. Like, it sucks. Like, the fucking dust. Number 3, I know this is just because the women vote. Okay. This shouldn't be number fucking 3 on anybody's list. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen.
Oh.
Like, of the greatest novels ever written.
Yeah.
Pride and Prejudice is number 3. I can get it if you put it in your top 25, but come on. Come on.
Now, have you read that? No.
I can't judge, but at the same time, I know that's not going to be my favorite. Now, number 2, this is one I brought up where it's like, pretty sure in the Guardian's 100 books, this was number 1. It's number 2 on the Reader's Choice list. Who the fuck is reading this book? Middlemarch by George Eliot.
I don't know if I know what that is.
Here.
Middlemarch?
Middlemarch. I've heard of it. It's always talked about in the classic lit group, but it's always talked about in a way where it's like, I couldn't finish reading this bullshit. Like, I never see anybody liking it. So Middlemarch by George Eliot, which is a pseudonym for Mary Ann Evans. She had to write under a male name to get is a masterpiece of Victorian literature, a sprawling novel set in the fictional English town of Middlemarch during a time of social and political change, 1830s. It interweaves with stories of numerous characters, focusing on the thwarted idealism of its main protagonist, the intelligent Dorothy Brooke, and the ambitious Dr. Tertius Ligate, exploring themes of marriage, social class, gender roles, ambition, and the search for meaning in a complex world. And let me look at the page count of this asshole book.
Big.
About 900 pages. Dense Victorian prose.
None of that sounded
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it could be really good, but that does not. None of that made me be like, oh, I would maybe want to check that book out.
Number 1 on the greatest novels ever for Guardian, and number 2 on the Reader's version.
And I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah, it's what I don't understand. It's like all the fucking books out there, and that's number 2.
Because like, I'm not like a big, like, super classic guy like you, but like, I've heard of things and know of, these books, but like that I never heard of, I think. Number
1, do you wager a guess, of the greatest novels ever written?
Do I go pretentious?
No, this is one that when I say it, you'll definitely understand because it's placed in pop culture.
Oh, okay.
So, would you wager a guess? It's one of Caleb's personal favorites, if that helps.
Oh, no, we did. Is it a McCarthy book?
No. No McCarthy books in the top 25.
Because then I almost went Dion Cote, but we already did that one. I know that was one of your favorites.
Give up.
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. That was considered the greatest novel ever written.
Now,
it's 3 books, but it was written as one.
Oh, okay. That's what I was gonna say. Like, if are they doing the whole trilogy or the and counting the Hobbit and you know what I mean?
Not the Hobbit, just the other ones. So, do you agree with that list? Probably not. But I have no problem with Lord of the Rings because when you look at the greatest novel, you also have to look at the novels, not just the best written or the greatest story. You have to look at things that are the complete package and that most people have read.
Yeah,
that's a big one. That's why I don't agree with Middlemarch. Most people have not read Middlemarch. I'm sorry. Like you said, most people probably haven't even heard of Middlemarch. But a general reader knows Lord of the Rings. Even if they haven't read, even if you don't read at all, you know Lord of the Rings.
Right.
So it's understandable why that would be in the top 25.
And I mean,
you know Moby Dick,
yeah.
even if you never read Moby Dick.
And it did pretty much create a new genre of fiction for the most part.
So, the fantasy, like that kind of fantasy, epic fantasy. So I'm gonna go ahead and just read through some of the other ones.
I was gonna say, did you happen to skim through? I figured if it'd be probably towards the end, but I was just curious if any Stephen King novel is made.
So let's look. 26, Bleak House by Dickens and Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Number 28, Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. 29, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain and Great Expectations by Charles Dickens.
I figured Huckleberry would be
higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very surprised it didn't make the top 25. The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishigo and The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov and Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. Those are all under 31. And then I said there was no 30, so I don't understand this list. 35, A Confederacy of Dunces.
Maybe because it's 31, too. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're tied, but they take up those spots.
Right. Let's speed through this. But 35, Confederacy of Dunces. 36, Count of Monte Cristo. I feel like Count of Monte Cristo in the next year will jump up a list like this for sure.
I was actually kind of surprised that Confederacy of Dunce was that high.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it, but I was just, I wouldn't think other people would just be like, oh, it's kind of like a city.
I think it has a bit of a cult following. 37, Catcher in the Rye by Salinger and A Prayer for Owen Meany by John Irving. I heard of John Irving, but never heard A Prayer for Owen Meany. So that's in the top 40. It's weird because when you read some of these and then it's like, oh, this beat out, and then you go with the other ones. You're like, how did it beat out these? 39, this is one I've been meaning to read. I keep fucking putting it off. It's Stoner by John Williams. Yeah. We've been seeing that pop up on list too lately, which is, that seems every couple years comes around. So I should probably read that. And Frankenstein by Mary Shelley is also 39. I get it, but at the same time, I don't like it. Oh, Jesus. 41 has so many. A Fine Balance by Rotten Tin Mystery. I don't think I said that name right. A Suitable Boy, Heart of Darkness by Conrad. The Handmaid's Tale, and The Secret Histories. Those are fucking a lot of choices for one. I don't like how they did that. All right, I'm really just going to skip through. So, 46, Lolita, Hitchhiker's Guide, and Water something down. 49, Tale of Two Cities, Atonement, David Copperfield. All right, I'm just going to see if there's any King on here now. Yeah. Lonesome Dove made 52.
Okay.
Tied with 10 other fucking ones.
So I was thinking maybe The Shining or something.
You would think. Kazuo Ichiguro has been on here a few times, I've noticed, which is interesting because he's a modern writer. I got that Clara from the Sun or In the Sun or whatever I've been meaning to read, but it's the only book of his I have. I'm not seeing it. Salman Rushdie I've been meaning to read as well. He's got Midnight's Children there. This thing's really not liking me skimming this
so fast.
The Outsider by Albert Camus.
Oh, okay.
Is that The Stranger? Is that a different translation for The Stranger?
Maybe.
The Outsider? Or is that a different book? I never heard of The Outsider. I thought that sounds like The Stranger.
Yeah, because Outsider, I think of what's her face's book.
Right. In the 70s. I ain't seeing it. You'd think there'd be one.
Right,
yeah, Hemingway makes a good bit of appearances around 75.
Typically, he would be a little bit higher. He'd feel like Old Man in the Sea or something would be a little bit higher.
I think Hemingway's overrated. I think a lot of people don't like Hemingway.
But wouldn't that make him underrated then if people don't like him?
Well, no, because his esteem, everyone thinks he's so great. But I think a lot of people... There we go. So I'm going to read the... Oh, Jesus Christ. Number 80.
Okay.
Absalom by William Faulkner. Doom by Frank Herbert. For Whom the Bell Tolls by Ernest Hemingway. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susan Clark. Memoirs of Hadrian by Marguerite Jurgensenar. Tessa the Ubervilles by Thomas Hardy. Life of Opinions of Tristan Shandy Gentleman, Lawrence Stern. The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. The Plague by Elmer Camus. The Red and the Black by Stendhal. The Road by Cormac McCarthy. And The Stand by Stephen King.
Oh, okay.
So him and 10 other fucking books are number 80.
Yeah, okay.
How? They just don't do a list.
Just make it 89, 88, 87, like.
Well, then they couldn't get them all in, I guess. And then let's see, anything else? George Orwell. Animal Farm comes in at 93.
Wow.
With a bunch of others. That's surprising to me.
Yeah.
That'd be in my top 25 for sure.
Yeah, at least. I was thinking like 50 to 25. Yeah, at least.
Yeah. So I don't understand how this is set up. Am I missing something? So 100, A Dance to the Music of Time by Anthony Powell, and then it's just 93, but there's like 10, and then it goes to 80. So is it like skipping? Or is that
like I think like whenever like something's tagged for 80, they're like say if there's 5 things tagged for 80, they're taking up 80 to 81 to 82. So but at that point, why just not have them numbered that?
I don't know. So that's the list. So again, I'm not gonna ever read Middlemarch, so I'm not gonna be able to judge it. But I just don't see that ever being that high. There's no way. That's one of those ones. I think George Eliot's biography got out, and people were like, "Oh, it's a woman that had to, fight to write and all this shit." And it's just like I feel like that's just one of those things where it's getting hyped up for some reason, but it doesn't deserve. Not saying it can't be a fine book. That's not a top 10 book, not especially 2 and 1.
Yeah,
it's almost like because I seen a thing about people. I watched a video guy talking about like the Guardians list and how like some of these books came to be, and it turned out it's like. You can see like the people who voted on these books. You can see their top 10 because it like went the averages.
Right.
So if you had a top 10 and I had a top 10, and we had to like both pick Moby Dick as like in there, Moby Dick would get voted on some way to get in the top 100. I think a lot of people, what they did was on these lists is they can see my list. I better throw in something like, I better have a black author. I better have a woman author. So you're not like looking like a piece of shit that, I just picked Ernest Hemingway 10 times.
Yeah.
So that like skews the list. But for some reason, I think Middlemarch was one of the ones where everyone was like, it's a safe bet. Let's put Middlemarch in there. It makes it sound smarter.
And it just got pushed.
And then, it's just the law of averages. Middlemarch just ends up at the, like, that's a shit way to do it.
I think that should be your next book you read.
Fucking dickhead. Want to pick Middlemarch. Anyway, folks, that's an episode. It went longer than I wanted, but we had a long cold open as well. So we're not going to record a second episode. So I got to do squats. Got squatted out today.
Yeah.
I don't know when this episode will drop, but it'll be close to the date that I think we'll still have a couple weeks. But Starlight is coming out in July for you folks that want to pick up that. I did get my copy of Chill Magazine, Chill Mag. I just haven't got around to posting pictures of it. I don't feel like it. But anyway, folks, we thank you for listening. You can check us out at DPW Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and Twitter, and some other stuff maybe. Spencer's OnlyFans, he's down there in Alabama, and he's analyzing alligators.
Yes.
He's saying, you know why alligators are so ornery? Because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush. CalebJamesK.com. You can look up my publishing history, and I got links to things. And I just have some old shit stories you can read for free.
Yeah.
Usually my poetry, whenever I publish something about a poem, I also just put the poem up because you don't have to buy the book.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thank you for listening. Spencer probably thanks you for listening, and we will check you out next week.